Hello again, this will be the camp phase for Chancellorsville. I've already done some adjustment to my primary cores, just shifting units around to get them in where I'll need them. I'm going to be very infantry heavy for the first day, and then I'm going to be doing a lot of swapping around to get fresh units in and to reset from a very aggressive first day to a more defensive second day. So we're going to continue to max out politics. We're going to end up taking the end fields. And buy up those. One thing worth noting is we've reached the point with 10 econ that at least artillery you can buy and sell one-to-one. So we can start stockpiling anything that looks useful, and if we run into problems later, we can just start selling this off, and effectively we're not losing any money. Most of these I'm not going to do that with. I just never going to end up using them, so there's no point. But I am going to stockpile some various weapon types. Sure, we'll pick those up just in case. And again, if you're short on money, you don't need to do this, but I'm just taking advantage of these stocks replenishing to pick up some extra stuff in case I need it later. I don't think I'm going to bother for anything here. Actually, palmettos might not be... That would let me replace the Remingtons. I'll think about it later, depending on how much money I have left. But that was the primary stuff I needed. Yeah, I'm gonna buy these. I don't normally buy rifles, but I've reached the point in the campaign where most of this money is just going to start sitting around, and it doesn't benefit me. So I'm gonna buy some extra stuff here and there. But I'm still not, I'm not gonna buy Fayettevilles or Richmonds or anything like that for a while, probably. So, let's get started. First things first, on the first day, I want to swap out officers for those with speed. So I'm going to grab this guy, and Jackson. We'll fix officers later. So Jackson, oddly enough, is going to show up on the first day, and then I'm probably going to swap him out on the second day because I don't actually need the speed bonuses there. This new guy is because I want to have a speed bonus, but then I still want the cover bonus. I still haven't taken anything with leader. I don't think I am ever going to end up with it. And pretty much any scenario I can think of, I would rather have the bonus cover in melee than the less morale damage received, because I'm going to be piling enough units into a melee that the less morale damage doesn't really matter, and the cover in melee will do me more, especially because I don't have very high melee values for a lot of my units. So I'm setting up with cover, speed, and infantry like normal. And these units are going to come in first, and basically, my goal is going to be to ambush all 3 sets of Union reinforcements on the first day. So, start working on getting stuff filled up. We don't have very many of these. I've lost far too many throughout the campaign, so I'm just going to be going to 250 again. If you take a little fewer losses on these or create fewer units, then you could probably get back up to, I'd probably go to 275, 300 if I had the rifles, but I don't, so. So my goal is to take few enough losses with these, that with the next battle I'll have enough to actually equip a 3rd unit. But the Whitworths will do alright, especially once you get 3 stars on them, then they're far enough range they can start working on things again. We'll go up to 275 with these. I'll probably take some losses, so that'll get them back down, so I can equip the rifles. No, I'm just gonna start dumping rookies in. That'll go up soon enough. See if we can get him out of there, but okay, good enough. Any other officers? No. Okay, let's get... I may bring these up to... I'm going to go up to 8 guns at least. I might go up to 10. I'm not sure yet. Yeah, we'll go through and do the rest of the artillery. I think these guys need it. Just to check.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, got all of that. While we're here, you guys are going to come in on the second day. We're going to put you up to 500. Oh, right, I actually kind of want one of these units for Salem Church. I might take one of my 3-star units in on Salem Church. Yeah, I think I'm going to end up doing that. Gonna swap him out for Spencer since I have enough. Get a better officer in there so we aren't spending quite so much. See what 5,000 looks like. Want these a little bit bigger, so I'm going to spend some extra money on them. It's expensive, but want to keep the star. There we go. That'll work.
Yes, sir.
Get damage bonus. Then I have 2 shock units. I think we're gonna... Yeah, this will be cheaper to push up. I'm debating if I just up these guys more and then bring one of them in on day 2. Or, sorry. Because whatever unit, I'm debating because at Salem Church, I'm going to be bringing 1 cav unit to try and take out the artillery, and they're kind of going to get beat up a bit. Not sure which unit I want to bring. But you have the double damage perks, so that's going to work a lot better. I think I'm going to bring these guys. See if we can get up to 400. Put a little bit more in. I want to get up to 450 really.
Yes, sir.
gonna make it. We'll go with 430. That'll do.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they're not gonna be doing anything for a while. Let's go back through and take care of infantry. Since I'm gonna end up with extra money, I'm gonna go up to 3,000 veterans.
Yes, sir.
And I think take them up to 1,100 for now. I can make it work with that, but sometimes my numbers are a little bit low by the time I get to Salem Church. So I might end up going a little higher with some of these units. Might replace the Enfields. I'll have to see how many Harper's Ferries I have left over.
Form line.
I could probably boost some of these up to 2 stars. I'm gonna wait and see when I start swapping officers at the end if it's worthwhile. Given that, probably not, especially because I'd have to, if I go up to 1,200, then it would be even lower. Okay, almost done. And this division is going to be the one that comes in first. That's why I've stacked so much the units oddly. Like I want all these snipers on the field immediately, so that's why they're in that position. You basically get the first division and part of second. Wait, did I already do? Don't remember. Now that I started talking, I don't remember if I put units in there. I don't think I did. I'm gonna, if I've spent 6,000 on them, oh well. But you get the first two, all of first division, part of second division coming in first. So I need to get infantry and stuff into certain positions, which is why I'm stacking so much. And then some of my long-range artillery will come in the second corps.
Yes, sir.
But as you can see, with going to 1,100, I'm not too concerned about unit size. I'm sure I can take few enough casualties in most cases that the units are going to stay large enough to continue to be effective. You're usually fighting from pretty good positions for most of this battle. The only part that hurts is pushing into the Union camp, which I'm really only going to do at the end of day 3. And then I'm actually going to be creating some brand new units that are going to go into the most vulnerable sections to do that. Okay, got one done. Now, take care of these guys, and this is similarly stacked with infantry. You get a lot of the units that come in on day 1 just come in so late that there's not a lot of benefit to them, and if they're artillery, they really don't get in position in time to really do much in the battle. So that's why I'm bringing so much infantry. I also need them because since I'm going to be trying to hit all 3 of the enemy reinforcements that come in. That's a lot of area to cover, so I just need the infantry to take up that space. And I'm going to be bringing a mixture of 1-star and 2-star. Most of it doesn't bother me too much. Alright, these guys are pretty low. They're decently experienced, so they'll still be decent 1-star units. Part of the reason I am putting more money into a little bit more money into veterans and buying the extra weapons is a discussion I was having with Something Compass on just efficient use of your money. And while it's really good to have a stockpile, you don't need a huge amount past a certain point. So it just seems better to invest that money into weapons or veterans that are directly benefiting you rather than just sitting on a huge stockpile at the end of the campaign that eventually you're going to run out of slots to be able to create units. You can always buy more rifles, I guess, but I think it's better to have the advantages now rather than stockpiling that money and taking more casualties because you're using worse stuff. Not entirely sure where that line's going to end up. Clearly I'm not buying a bunch of the best rifles I could either, which would, theoretically reduce my losses as well because I'd be routing enemy units faster. Okay, I need to get some more Enfields. I think I had a pretty... Okay, you're really good. You can get some 1861s. And... Sure, you can get some 1861s. Just double check. We had Harper's... I think we had some Enfields in here. Just want to make sure any 2-star unit has Harper's Ferries. Okay, swap you out. We'll probably end up going back through and giving a couple of 1-stars Harper's Ferries as well, because I think I have enough. But we're also hitting about the point where I think we're going to stop getting them, so we're going to have to start transitioning over to 1861s. Which is fine, it just depends how many we capture. Okay, almost got the infantry set up. You'd be a good candidate for 1861s when I get them.
Yes, sir.
It'd be really nice if we could type this in. Other people have mentioned it before, but if that ever becomes a feature in Game Lab's next game, that would be wonderful. Save a lot of time. And this slider thing just gets worse the bigger units get. That's one of the downsides of playing small is you're never using 95% of this slider. Not very useful if you're not just maxing units out. Okay, I've got one more old unit here, which we can top off. I think that's it for my infantry. It is. Let's go find someone with some Enfields. Okay. Done with those. What does that leave us with? Not going to use those. Springfields, 2 units, 1 to 2 units of Enfields. Some Lorenzes. Okay, I want at least, I think, 9, 10. Gonna make some new infantry. I think at this point I'm gonna go officer swapping. Just to see what I have to work with. These guys are all fine. Pulling the major generals out of unit areas that aren't really going to be doing anything. And we'll drop them in command of units that are actually going to be in the battle. In general, I don't really want major generals commanding. I don't really want them commanding infantry units. Just a little too high a chance that they go down. So I'm going to be swapping them out when I can. Okay, majors I can use. Yep. Though actually, I'm pretty sure my recruits are good enough that I can use them to get a 2-star unit, which means putting them in charge of better units in charge of this might be a better option. Yeah, I've got a lot of majors. Let's see if I can make the units with just the majors. Yeah, we'll start here. So these are the units that are going to be used to swap out. So basically from day to day, I'm going to switch out these units, and so I should almost every day I should basically be going in with effectively a fresh army. Anything that takes more than like 100, 200 casualties, I'm going to swap out. I think I'm going to make these guys a little bigger. Sure, I'll buy some extra weapons to make this happen. I think at this point I'm leaning towards not going with 1200 with any of my main units and just relying on being able to swap these guys in and out to handle the load. I don't really care what these guys are armed with. I mean, giving them Enfields is a bit much, but it'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Maybe going slightly overboard on the money here, but we have a huge backlog in weapons we could sell. So I'm just going to invest in the troops, and maybe I'm spending a little bit more than I need to, but hopefully I think it'll pay off. I think with these weapon types, I'm only going to go at 1100. It's going to be fine in a lot of cases. I just won't use them for quite as rough a duty, and then I'm not buying as many, because these weapons that I'm starting to buy are okay, but not great. Like Mississippi's, buying more of them doesn't really do me a whole lot, so. 1100 is still more than enough to do a good job. Okay, almost out of actual rifles. Buy Springfields, but I don't really want to. Don't really want to buy palmettos. So that gives me 1, 2, 3, so 6, 8. So I want kind of would like one more unit of rifles from somewhere. The downside of going up to the 1200 is I have a little bit less less spare. Maybe do I just buy the Springfields? It's kind of expensive. We're just gonna make some extra musket units. We're also well under scaling, so none of this is going to move anything one way or the other, so I don't have to worry about it. These musket units are primarily going to be the ones used on the third day, and they're going to be the ones that have to walk out into the wheat field and then walk over into the camp to actually take the locations. Those units tend to take a decent amount of damage depending on how well I do at beating down enemy units and taking out artillery ahead of time. So using these sort of cheap units is a good way to do it. Okay, I think I want a few more of those. Don't have quite enough Springfields. Actually, I might as well buy them. You lose $1 per rifle when you buy and sell these back, but we're going to have a lot of battles where having some cheap sponge units are going to be useful, so might as well. Okay, so that's 12. I think I wanted 14. I was planning things out, so I'm going to make 2 more. Might have to go exchange some officers depending on what I find in the other units. We'll see. Okay. I think that's all the infantry I'm going to bring. All the artillery, the rifles. Just double checking. Anything I need to buy. I could buy these, but not worth it. This is a little bit, so I think for my test runs of this, I think I was sitting around 200, 250,000, so I've bought more weapons, but we're still going to have more than enough to refill our supply wagon multiple times, because we're barely going to use any supply the first day. I'm actually going to mostly turn them off on the first day because there's a ammo reset at the end of the first day. There's not an ammo reset at the end of the second day, so I'll need to full resupply there, but we won't be hitting it too hard because we're only bringing in 2 cores. Yeah, made pretty good use of our rifles. The other thing that this is sort of for is I need to plan ahead for Salem Church. I really don't want to be going in there with units much less than around 1100. I can pull it off, but those units are going to get hit pretty hard because it's going to be all 3-star units. I think I've got a plan to handle it pretty well, but the units that go in are going to get beat up doing it. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to use to go into Chancellorsville. I'm probably going to break that video up a little bit just because it's a longer battle, and there's extra stuff to do in camp in between, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe if I feel it. Oh, right. I haven't done officers at all. Let's double check this quick. Leaving these guys in charge is a little risky. Yeah, I'm going to swap out. This is a battle where you tend to actually take a decent amount of fire. Okay, we need someone better.
Yes, sir.
Dang, I'm going to have to put a lieutenant general in there. Well, we'll see if I get myself killed. That'd be entertaining. These units tend to take a little bit of fire in this battle. So, hopefully we don't take any losses, but... Okay, you're all fine. Give you someone a little better. Actually, that's what we'll do. We're going to swap these two. There we go. Upgrade him to get the artillery a little bit better shape. You need someone much better. Yeah, that'll do. Upgrade you as well, and that should help out here a little bit. We're never going to get these maxed out unless you have double max rank lieutenant generals, which just, those guys usually have better things to be doing.
Sir, yes, sir.
Get the extra charge damage bonus on you. Doubt we can get it here without putting someone there. I don't really want to put there. Sure, congratulations for us. You get a command of cavalry unit for a little bit again. Yeah, okay, so I have one major general left that I'd kind of like to get in command of. Sure, you can go in command of this guy. And I think I'm actually, oh right, I need to do that. I'm gonna, because I have a lot of cover guys, I'm gonna use the shooting. I'm gonna switch this out for parrots. And then I'm actually going to, I think there was another unit of 24 pounders that 10 pounders that I was going to replace. Okay, so these are all 24, 20, 10. Yeah, I think you are who I was planning to swap with. Alright, and do I want to take artillery up a notch? I think I'm going to do it. We're probably going to push scaling up a little bit in the minor battles afterwards. It'll be a bit expensive, but need to do it at some point. I'm only going to do 24 pounders. I don't think I'm going to take any of these 3-star units up. One, because a lot of these are turning into my counter battery artillery. I want to keep them flexible. I think I'm going to keep you small. Okay, so you're switching to 24 pounder. Bring you up. So that was pretty costly, but. So that's a little bit lower than I'd probably want to go. I probably want to stay around 150,000. So I probably would have. There's some stuff I probably went to bought at some point, but. Where are the ones that are? Okay, so these I can sell 1 to 1. I think I'm going to be fine. I don't think I'm going to use that much supply. I don't usually end up going out. Just because a lot of the infantry doesn't end up firing for most of the battle, so it should be fine. So I've got some 10 here. I think I'm going to leave the rest of these down for now. Because I want to be able to swap out my 20 pounders and stuff into these units to get them experience. I can't do that if I start increasing them. So I think we're in where I want to be. Just to look quick. $40,000 to 80,000, but we've got another 20,000 men in reserve. And we're going to be facing around 100,000 and 300 guns on day 2. We're going to try and knock that number down a little bit, but that's a little better than 2 to 1 if we count everything I'm going to be able to swap in. So yeah, that's the setup I'm going to use for Chancellorsville. I'll explain a little bit more about the strategy and stuff in the actual battle. But hopefully this was useful, and I will be back in a bit with the battle itself. Thanks for watching.